So, I was evil this year and made a MUD. For those of you who don't know what a MUD is, a multi-user dungeon, a text-based game. Go to evil.af, evil.af.
All fun.
Yeah, all fun. Now, this game is different. You have to become an admin on the game because it's hackable. And the contest is submit original content to the game, hack it live, show it to me on Friday. Person who creates the best content wins a new sealed analog pocket. Evil.af, thank you.
That was quick. All right. So before TYMKRS come up here and talk to you about it, I want to tell you about 3 more of our sponsors. That's CypherCon, Fortinet, and Red Canary. Again, you can find them out there along all of the corridors between all of our sessions. And TYMKRS here are going to tell you about these fancy new badges. Does everybody have yours turned on and ready to go? Yeah? You're scared to turn it on? That's probably a reasonable fear.
The question is if you know where the switch is. We had a couple that did not. All right, so this year, welcome to 2023. We made 700 badges this year. As you guys may know from the previous years, we like to introduce you to concepts of different technologies or eras of technology. So our first year was a 3-bit XOR stream cipher built of 7400 logic. Our second year was a time-sharing system from the 70s. Third year was phone phreaking with a phone system. Fourth year was paper tape. Fifth year was flamingos and vending machines. And this year, we introduced the early internet, when the internet was slow to load, but everybody had a blog to share their thoughts. So everybody loves, so badges are kind of a miracle when they actually work. And so I'm going to tell you the story of how they almost did not work. So this is actually Plan B version 2. Because Plan A, due to part shortages, we couldn't implement that. And then with Plan B, version A, we were actually going to have a screen, an e-ink screen that was the size of the badge itself. But when I went to set up the purchase order for the initial screen, the vendor essentially told me it was 150% more in cost. And fortunately, I had gotten these screens as a sample as well. And when we did the test, we also realized that instead of a 20-second update period with the original screen, it was only going to be 4 seconds. So while I recognize that you guys are like, man, we're taking our time here. 1, early internet. 2, they're fast. They're actually fast for e-ink. Okay, so basic facts about this badge. It runs on a Raspberry Pi Pico. Normal Raspberry Pi Picos have 2 megabytes of EEPROM space. This one has 16 megabytes. It runs off a 200K RAM. When we uploaded our files, there were 116 files loaded into each badge, but it can procedurally generate up to 1,400 additional files. All right, more scary things that happened with this badge. So a month and a half ago, we ran out of RAM. And with 30% of badge functionality left to implement. So Whisker had to completely redo the architecture of the code, like over 10,000 lines of code, I think, that we had to refactor, and rewrite drivers up and down. And then a month ago, I went to test the battery to see how long 2 batteries would last, whether it'd last the conference. I put the batteries in, nothing. And I'm like, we are so screwed. Badges that cannot work with batteries. So then our engineer was like, try 3 batteries. So I tried 3 batteries, nothing. So took a look at it, poked prod, and he said, hey, the manufacturer's schematics for the board are incorrect. So, digital folks, if you look at your badge right above the battery, you will notice a piece of fly poop called a resistor that had to be removed from a part of the board and soldered with 2 tiny strand wires to 2 pins on the chip. And that was done 3 weeks ago? 4 weeks to 700 badges. Yeah. Yeah. And then 3 weeks ago, while Whisker was working on the network stack, we realized there's something weird with the UART, where if you sent more than 80 bytes at a time, it would start corrupting the data. So in order to get the networking working, we essentially had to invent BitTorrent on the badge. So we've got badge torrent working as part of the networking. And I want to let you guys know, too, that sometimes you guys are guinea pigs for us. So this is Whisker's first foray into Python and MicroPython. So for his first project, he decided to create an operating system, network stack, character mapped graphics, programming language called Dogteeth, which I used to write the badge adventure game, a compiler for said programming language, web browser, and all of the badges exist in every other badge. So the more badges that are in network mode, the more robust this network will be. So if you're sitting at a talk, turn it in onto network mode so it can communicate with each other, and you'll get more information. All right, VIPs. There are probably only 30 to 40 of you guys. Harass them. You paid for the privilege. You have an SD card. It's going to have information and tools for doing badge customization. And a ton of documentation on the programming language, how to use the tools, the scripting markup language. This can help you design custom logos, custom websites, and only VIPs have documentation for the source code, which is open. So if you're a Python developer, feel free to grade the code, but it works, okay? It works. All right, that's right. If anyone has a hard time with the UI, please come to 102B as in boy to let us help explain it. I know that sometimes the colors might be a little difficult to see. And also, if you want to look at the debug output of the system, connect them to a terminal at 115.200 baud. Oh, and Whisker also created a custom font for the badge. And so all of the AI-generated badge art has been modified with our typeface called TYMKRS, so TYMKRS, but TYMKRS. And there are TTFs for the font on the SD card. So visit mod at entry point to customize your name, and then come ask questions if you get stuck. And I think we've got a video.
Beep, boop, beep, 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 boop. They were telling me last night how many crazy number of hours they put into this badge. I don't know how you managed to do that. 18-hour days and
18-hour days since December.
It's been years since I left the silo. I was invited to attend the conference. But now I suspect the conference is happening outside. What is outside? No one here believes there really is an outside. Why can they not see that something is strange? Our world exists in a simulation. The simulation dangles on a lanyard. At the real conference, we are only imaginary friends. Are you really out there? CypherCon. My name is TYMKRS. I suspect that my world was created for the amusement of an advanced species of hackers. If anyone finds this recording, find me on the Intracon.
Thank you so much. We hope you guys enjoy the badge.
Thank you. Yes, that is so much work that goes into that. Thank you for all that. Last thing, after the event tonight, we actually do have the Garcade is happening upstairs. So when at 10 o'clock, if you want to play a crap load of video games, let's do that. So with that, I hope you have a great CypherCon. Keynote's coming up right now. Thank you very much.